G'day everyone, welcome to another Rose Cup battle. Today I'm going to be battling against Rocket Claire. She's a really good trainer from down south in Australia, one of the top women in Australia, and really good to do some battles against her. So we just picked some random lines of 6 that we kind of had a rough idea of, but nothing that really, we're not really bumping some massive synergy here. So we'll get into the battle. We get a really nice lead of Drapion here, and then she switches into a Charizard. And I'm like, oh, Akatel, yeah, let's just stay in for this one. Hopefully my Haunter can take care of her Drifbloom in the back. Because we know Machamp won't unless we have all shields down and we can get that Rock Slide off. So we'll throw a Fell Stinger this time, assuming she's going to shield it up, which she does. So we've buffed our attack there. So Bite's going to do a heap of damage of whatever comes in next. And there's no point really keeping it for whatever's in the back, so we're just going to try and do as much damage as we can to her Medicham, and she does waste her energy, which is really nice. So I've got Haunter strong against both of these mons in the back, and so we bring out the Machamp just to try and take a bit more health out of this Medicham, and then she switches into the Drifbloom now. Very silly move here. This is what lost me the match. Should have let the Drifbloom use its energy and then switch into my Haunter. Critical error there, and we do end up coming pretty close because all shields are down. So Rock Slide's going to take out Drifbloom, but just not going to get to the cross chop there. So I think it was either a CMP tire or I was one behind, which wouldn't have killed the Medicham anyway. So close game, but that's what we practice for. So looking at the teams here, we both have a Charizard, and looking at each other's lineups, Charizard's not especially good against anything. So yeah, and Medicham is the same, and everything else, one Ghost each, Tank each, and I went with another Fighter, and Drapion, and she went with the Flyer and Clefable. So we had a good lead there, and I think this is kind of where the match goes downhill. So we're stuck into this Probopass. A little bit silly. Probably should have stayed in with Haunter. Shouldn't have switched out earlier. Haunter actually does pretty well against Clefable, puts a lot of shield pressure on. So Corner comes back out, so we're going to be forced to shield here, otherwise we're going to lose. But we correctly call the Not an Ice Punch. I don't know how we got that. Now the problem I've done here is farmed up too much energy. I'm not actually going to be able to get to throw off 2 moves here, because I'm going to die from this next Hex. So a little bit frustrating. I don't think I should have taken quite that much damage from Hex. I thought I would have easily been able to get off another move, but that's alright. So now we're stuck in a really yuck situation with Medicham. It's over. So looking at the teams, one thing we noticed is while Machamp is ranked fairly high in the PB Poke rankings, he loses to Medicham, and he's going to take super effective damage from all psychic attacks, whereas Medicham doesn't because of that extra psychic typing. So I'm kind of dubious about Machamp actually being a better pick than Medicham. Now, he still loses to the Ghosts as well. Anyway, it's debatable. So, we've got to land a Blast Burn here. I think we can take one Ice Punch, but it's not going to be pretty. So here comes the first Ice Punch in. Yep, comfortably can take it. And, I was umming and ahhing. You see I hit a Blast Burn, but then I went for the Dragon Claw. So we get the Dragon Claw bait, but I'm going to be forced to use a shield here, and she's either going to have to shield up this Medicham or it's dead with this Blast Burn. So either way, realistically, it's driving seat for us no matter what happens. And we get the second shield, so we're up 2 shields to 1. Now we're in a we look down and go, oops. So both of these mons are going to be taking super effective damage, but we end up getting a switch advantage as he switches out here. So we know we can just farm up this Clefable. Don't need to worry too much about the hits. It's only going to get one move off. And it is a Psychic, which does absolutely bupkis. So we know she's likely to bring that Medicham straight back in here. And we're just going to have to go for these Rock Slides or Magnet Bomb. Now, CMP tie, so Medicham unfortunately wins that one hands down. A lot more attack stat than Probopass. So we get one down, and Drifbloom, and silly. I should have thrown the Rock Slide, right? Super effective. Big mistake. So we switch back into our Drapion, who is obviously going to be able to absolutely tank everything, and these bites, now they're boosted, are just going to rip through Drifbloom. So that's round 3. So we're down 2-1, and we're going to round 4. We get a very funny match, double shiny Charizard match off. So yeah, I think we're just going to try and bait and go, and we'll zig and zag and see what we can get happening here. It's quite a neutral match, really. Neither of us are particularly fond of the Charizard in terms of taking down the other opponent's team. I mean, obviously it'd be nice for me to take down the Skarmory. But even then, Charizard takes a lot of damage from even just from a standard Sky attack. So we go for another bait with the Dragon Claw, and we get the second shield, and we can just get to a third Dragon Claw. So even though her Charizard's going to have a buttload of energy, it's only one fast move till it's dead. So I'm umming and ahhing what to bring in here. Haunter, just so we can get it down in one hit, and hopefully she doesn't get to throw any of that energy. So that's the case. So shields are down. Shadow Ball time, right? As soon as those shields are down, you got Shadow Balls, you throw them. And I was amazed how much damage it took out of that Clefable. Yeah, I thought it would take maybe a bit over half health, but no, it really rips right into it. And now we don't need to even go for the Shadow Ball here. We could have just gone Shadow Punches, but you know, you got it there, so why not? So 2-2, heading into the last match now. And we lose the lead. Oh, terrible, terrible. So we switch into our Haunter, which means now she's got the Drift Bloom out there, which is an interesting pick to counter. So she doesn't have her Steelix in the back. She's going to waste some shields here to keep her Drift Bloom alive, but I think she's going to be able to take me down with just Hexes and store up a ton of energy. So we shield up, hoping that we can get to one more Shadow Punch, but we just can't. So would have been much better off just letting us die and bringing out the Drapion, right? Because super effective. Would have charged up a heap of energy. Now we've got Medicham against Dark type, and we know she's got Clefable in the back. So even though we've got the shield advantage, it's not going to play out too well. So we're just going to have to try and buff this Drapion as much as we can. Hope to get to a second Fell Stinger. But we decide to just let it go. These Power Punches do a little bit, but not a whole lot. Even if we shielded, we probably only would have just got to that extra Fell Stinger, which wouldn't have done too much for us. Probably better off doing what we did and just charging up as much energy as we possibly can on our Medicham. Now she's knowing that, she switches into a Clefable, and she's just going to charm us down nice and quick. So that's it. Thanks very much, Claire. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you in some more videos coming up soon.